My name is Dominic Underhall-House and welcome to another episode of Magic the Gathering Arena. Now, I was hoping for today to actually be a Moonbreaker video, however, I'm currently having a bit of an argument with Steam, and an update that should be taking me a few minutes is looking like it's going to take about 5 to 6 hours. So, that's unfortunately off the cards. I have to switch things around a little bit, and I need something I can play without using Steam temporarily for the moment. So we've gone back to Magic Arena and gone for the Tinkerer's Cube draft. Now, I've done a lot of cubes. In fact, me and my friends used to have a cube together at one point, and it was great fun. So what I'm going to do, I was going to look at the card pool, and I remember I opened it up, and I thought, you know what, I'd rather go in blind, and it just sounds like it sounds like you can just put things together, make fun little combos, and honestly, that's my perfect kind of draft anyway. So I'm all for jumping into this and seeing what happens. I can't remember that, but I think that's Cisse, that looks like Koth, that's Joyra, I think it was, the more recent one, and obviously we know who over here. So honestly, I just thought we'd have a bit of fun. Jump into it, do a draft, play some games, and hopefully get a good track record. What are the prizes like? 6,000 gold and 3 cards, so where do we want to be to get... I mean, realistically, 5 wins is where we want to be to at least feel worthwhile. 6 and 7 would be perfect. But let's just jump in and have some fun. If you enjoyed this, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Join us on the Patreon down below. Most importantly, dropping comments is the best thing you can do for the channel. It not only increases the engagement thing, sorts out those YouTube algorithms, but mostly, I just enjoy reading them and commenting and replying, so absolutely means a lot to me. Please go ahead and do so. But for now, let's jump into the queue and see what we can get. Now, in these things, especially cubes, because they're curated, I love more mana. More mana, more card draw, so probably like blue-green would be like my ideal situation, but there's enough things in Magic that I'm happy with any combination as long as I can do cool stuff. So let's see what we find. Now it might take a minute to remind myself of what all these cards do, so you have to bear with me. Also sometimes my Magic Arena is a little slow, as you can see. Well, that does not help at all. So I can see Alicia... Ooh, Titania is an interesting choice. So, oh no, this isn't the Titania I know. Land cards, put your graveyard to gain life. 4 or more lands in your own Titania, and a specific land. You make it no. What's this? Ooh, sacrifice triggers additional time. That's interesting. And potentially put things in the graveyard. Kirin. Unified draw a card. Mayor of Avabrook, no. Null Priest is return things. Kraken Counterpart is fun. I'm looking at the sort of the sacrifice Panharmonicon. That looks sweet, even though I do love Llanowar Visionary. If a creature dying, double trigger. Let's go for it. So, is there anything else I need to read on this to make sure while I'm waiting? I should have just let the... Why does Arena do this to me? There we go. So, exile 3 creature cards from your graveyard, put an indestructible counter on it. That's what we need to figure out, how to put more creatures in. When something dies, each opponent loses 2 and I gain 2. So that seems like a pretty great start so far. This is, the flashback everything. Arlinn probably just makes wolves of some sort. Yeah. When you cast a creature spell, make a beast. Yeah, we're going to hover this for now. Choose number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices that many creatures. I mean, that's great. That's really entertaining because if you have no creatures, that's perfect. But we're going to want to be sacrificing creatures. This is what we're going to pick as a second... sacrifice synergy card. Honestly, I'm not sure what we'd like to get back. Oh, no, oh my god, I thought I had the wrong one for a second. I was quite worried that I'd accidentally just taken that land. Right, so first thing we need to do is look for black cards. There is nothing here. So we've got Sram's Expertise is a good start, because it just makes 3 creatures, which is good. Graft Identity to steal things. Quicksmith Rebel makes artifacts go tap and damage. Okay, so this is the green thing that puts counters on stuff. Yeah, I remember that. Wrath is what my old commander deck was. I love Wrath more than anything. I'm genuinely tempted to take it just for the sake of it. What's the Nexus? Ooh, making token. Oops, I didn't mean to take it, but I was probably going to take it, to be honest. Making tokens in colourless rather than white is a little bit safer. Gonti's just incredible value. What have we got here? Ertai. So it's a flash, counter target spell. Its control draws a card. So that's like a tempo-y sort of thing. X colour from graveyard. Play an undercast a spell, but shares a card type. Okay, so that can make humans. Archon just... Is it landfall? Constellation here. We don't care about that. This thing is... Okay. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies. No, don't care about that. This isn't our colour. Scoop Swarm could probably be pretty decent choice here. It's not something I'm ideally a fan of, but let's go with Scoot Swarm. If I remember rightly, I didn't actually play with Scoot Swarm, but isn't this the one where you landfall, make a 1/1, if you draw 6 or more, create a copy of that? Yeah, that's what we want. Collective Brutality is fantastic. It's just a really solid, lots of different interaction there. Each UN target opponent create a Power Stone. That's an artifact synergy card. So we'd be on Underground River if we wanted it, but it's not likely. Eater of Virtue. Okay. So that's just like a synergy card on that. I think Collective Brutality is too good. It does everything you want. It can fuel our graveyard. We might end up wanting stuff in the graveyard anyway. I think that's just too good to not take at this point. Slingang Lieutenant for the same reason. Sacking Goblins is awesome. Elvish Reclaimer's good, but it's more of a land synergy, whereas this is just straight up black and make creatures, which is exactly what we want for this. I mean, where was it? This guy. So this triggers things twice, and that would be for this. Yeah, this seems like a really cool synergy. Creatures you control are every creature type, which is also really good for Slingang Lieutenant. That makes everything goblins. And then making goblins. Okay, so maybe we're Goblin Scoot Swarm synergy combo. Green Black Land is probably the pick here. Grolnok is mill 3 cards, permanent cards put in your graveyard, exile it. We don't want to be exiling it. We probably want to find things that synergize with being in the graveyard, so we'll just take Llanowar Waste here. Pain Lands aren't my favourite, but it fixes for Scoot Swarm, and honestly, everything here is on a game plan. Like, actually everything. This thing's cool. Drivnod Carnage. Dominus. Also, it's really useful that Slingang Lieutenant doesn't take mana to activate. So we can just... In fact, this is when a permanent... If creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control trigger. Yeah, so this doesn't do anything in terms of that, but it would trigger this. So that means Slingang Lieutenant is it 2? Yeah, so you get 3 triggers there. Oh, looking at this, by the way, we've either got create a construct, put it on one counter. So this is like a sort of a drainy sort of thing. I'm actually going to go Finale because it doesn't specifically need to be green, and we could use this to find combo pieces. But yeah, so this on its own can trigger 3 times. So we would lose them 3 life from the drain. And if we had this on the battlefield, they would lose another 6, 12, so it's 15 life between just those cards as a combo. So what's Titania again? Lands are put into our graveyard, gain 2 life, 4 more lands, and you control Titania and a land named Argoth, exile them and meld them into Titania Gaia Incarnate, which is a big thing. Rhodas just pumps stuff. And we could Croaking Counterpart. There is a world in which I want this, because if I can do this on like a Slingang Lieutenant, and then potentially just make multiple of those. I'm going to take this because it's worth it if we can splash, especially with Yavimaya Coast. Nice Pain Land there. We don't need any of the other blue. Obviously counters are good, but we're more combo than anything else. We could end up being a Thassa's Oracle deck, but I think it's best just to Yavimaya Coast here. Make sure we can cast our other spells. I'm going to take Wrath because he means something to me. I love Wrath. Although, counterspell and make a zombie with Decayed. It could be useful. I mean, we're not going to play Wrath. I kind of want it just for nostalgia, but I'm not taking it. Terramander could be okay. Yeah, that's just super red to cast, can't do that. Escape is the strongest card. I don't think we're going to end up playing Terramander regardless, so let's just take Escape. This is the random artifact triggery thing, isn't it? The one that makes Power Stone. I don't think we want it, but we'll take it. So blue seems fairly open, which is awkward because that's not what we want, but... Let's see what we got here. So this doesn't matter. If damage we dealt to you, prevent it in mill twice that many cards. You don't want that. This is reveal something. Put a land from it onto the battlefield, tapped, rest into your graveyard. That's fine. Comrade is another death trigger. No good fixing here. What's Nayith? When one more creature control fight or become blocked, draw a card. You may pay 2 and a green. Double. Yeah, I don't care for that. I'm going to go Comrade. Go for the more combo pieces. It seems pretty good to me. This would be another nice thing to wheel. But we're going to take Comrade, because whenever something dies, is it? It drains for 1? Ishkana. Dies or a creature's put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield. That's great. Murderous Rider is just super efficient. But we're not here for efficient. Oh, retrofit a foundry. That's also super cool. But I just want Ishkana. I really do. I love the fact that Ishkana can just make big things. We'll find ways to fuel our graveyard. This isn't sensible. It should just be Murderous Rider. It's the best card here, like for us. But Ishkana making 1/1s and potentially being able to just drain people with them is so sweet for us. We do need to find ways to fuel our graveyard. So what have we really got? Brutality does a really good job for that. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you may pay 1 if you do draw a card. Sacrifice a creature gains indestructible to enter. I mean, that seems great. Death Touch counter, remove Death Touch to exile something. Enter battlefield, create a treasure token. Yeah, Triskaidekaphobia we don't care about. Grimflayer could be good because it surveils 3. Planetary Graveyard. Okay, so once per turn we can play something from Graveyard. I think we want the Grimflayer. As much as I really want this, it's a 4-drop. We need early game plays, especially in a cube, and this will be really helpful. This is the point where pulling some why is it doing this? Some like Llanowar Elves or something like that would be great. You know, something like a really cheap. Ooh, Westvale Abbey. Oh my god, I love Westvale Abbey. For non-token creatures, 2 you can pick a 1/1. I mean that's fine. Phyrexian Scriptures is the Wrath, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, the Temple's probably the best thing for us here, and we might wheel Westvale Abbey. So I'm going to be sensible, take the Temple. We're happy to wheel Whirler Rogue, Scriptures, Valentine, or Westvale Abbey, but I think the fixing is super important. I love good fixing. I'm sad that we don't have much for our counterpart so far, but this is worth it, I think, if we can play it because of Flashback. These loading times are so bizarre. I don't know if you can hear the card flicking there, but it's so odd. Tezzeret Gambit. So, Spider Spawning is obviously pretty good if we can trigger it. Search your library for a card, yeah. Draw 2 cards and Proliferate. We don't need the Proliferate. This doesn't matter. We're going to just take Spider Spawning. We do need some finishers. Spider Spawning works really well with Ishkana. It works really well with Stinggang Lieutenant if we have Maskwood Nexus out. Lots of just triggers. Triggers are great. This is so frustrating. What's this? When it deals combat, exile the top card of each player's library. You pay 1 of those cards. Pay life instead of paying its mana cost. Haywire Might. That could be good for us. Honestly, I don't care for much of this. Haywire Might. When it dies, you gain 2 life. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. I actually think that makes the list. We want sacrifice triggers. We want things like that. That's pretty good. This is probably our pick here, but let's just see. Plus 2% Death Touch. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Yeah. Or whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control or a creature card in your graveyard, copy that spell. How many different creature types have we got? Quite a lot. We'll just take it. We'll figure out if it works later. I think we actually have got a lot, although, does this say cards on the battlefield or creatures you control rather than anything else? Because that might be an anti-synergy there. What's the Skyfisher Spider? 4 mana 3/3. You may sacrifice another creature. If you do, destroy target non-land permanent. When it dies, you may 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. That sounds fantastic. We need some cheaper things is the problem we've got here, but so that's green-blue. I don't care for the self-milling here. So let's take that. Ketria. This is whenever a crit creature dies, draw a card. 2 or black. This does sacrifice things, but I don't think we want this. No, actually, I was going to take it anyway. Oops, I changed my mind at the last second. I was too late. That's the Grand Architect thing. We'll take the sacrifice for that, just in case. We did get Westvale Abbey back. That's perfect. We did want that. So that flickers something. I mean, I guess we take the fish. I don't really care either way. Freezing Flame. Hopefully that went to the sideboard, but what we really want here is mana fixing and cheap things. Maybe some ramp. Chatterfang, isn't that? What tokens have we created? That many plus that many 1/1 squirrels. Oh my god, that's fantastic. That's probably what we're taking. Mortality Spear is also great. We want that. Mill 3 cards for each time it's kicked. I mean, I'm just gonna take Chatterfang. I want to do this. I want to do Squirrels. So Rashmi's good. Vannifar could be good for looking for the synergy. Chitterspitter to make more tokens. Timeless Witness is just super good. This is only specifically Squirrels, but it's so powerful. This is not good. So we probably want Timeless Witness or Chitterspitter, or probably just Fable Passage. I think I take Fable Passage and just hope to wheel one of the others. We don't want Agar in here. We don't want Exotic Pets. We'll deal with that in a minute. I don't know why this... Like, sometimes this does happen, but this is taking way longer to load. It's eating into our selection time. Oh. It's just frozen completely. You probably can't see this because my cursor's just disappeared. This is not a good situation to be in when we're at the bottom of the packs. I've just got... There we go, the audio's back. 13 seconds. When you draw a second card each turn, make a cat. Good fixing. This is fixing. Zagoth Triome. I don't know what the other stuff was. I think I saw Tymarek Calls the Dead that looked useful, but... Why is it doing this? Okay. Sanctum Weaver. So that's just a mana dork. Or we've also got mana fixing, which is also good. I think we actually want the dork. We want additional mana. It's 1 mana of any colour. It's really useful for what we need. We don't have too many enchantments. I don't know if you've even got many others at all, but Vivian. Sack a creature, search your library for it. Okay, so that's really good for us. This is the Death Touchy one. That's the Make a Land. And what's this one? A cycling 3-colour land. I think we probably do want Vivian. Actually, no. Emergent Sequence is probably better. We just want the ramp. We're really lacking in acceleration at the moment. And we probably have got other things that can do for card draw. Pelt Collector's interesting. This has got green-black in it, so it might just be that. Dollhouse is an unusual one, but it does work. I think we just want more fixing again. So this fixes for 2 of our colours. I do think Pelt Collector could be good, but I don't think it's really what we want. Okay, what have we got here? Innocent Blood could be interesting. Sack a creature on each side. Black and blue cycling land. Elder Deep Fiend. Ooh. No, but we're not going to be doing the emerge. Let's Innocent Blood here. Because we should have an abundance of creatures if all goes to plan. We'll definitely go for the blue-green land here. Yep. Okay, let's see if we get anything back we wanted. I mean, creature or enchantment opponent controls lose life equal to its mana value. That just seems too good to still be here. The Lurgoyf would be good, but we've got big things to help us there. I mean, Rashmi is just super cool. Do we have a good creature curve for this? 4, 5. Vannifar works here. I think Vannifar really works. Tymarek Calls the Dead is nice. Yeah, I think we want Tymarek because it makes 2/2s. Potentially. And it mills us, so there are things we could use mill for. Watery Grave going this late is bizarre. We're probably not going to play the Mask. So we can get rid of Exotic Pets and Agar the Freezing. I mean, I don't see us playing Hadana's Climb either. It's really like an aggro card in a blue-green deck, which is kind of odd. I think we're probably cutting the guy that we can't cast. Lagamos, so make a 2/1 to sacrifice it. Yeah, that's fine, but I don't think it's what we want. So this is auto-filled us up to here. So how many lands is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17 lands. So it actually thinks we want one more card. So I don't know about the Spider, because a Power Stone token's pretty good, and we don't have many artifacts to pull out of this. Escape to the Wilds. So maybe the Mask comes in as our only easy cast, or Hadana's Climb, with our fixing. What lands do we have here? So obviously you've got that. What else do we find? So we've got one that finds white. We do have one that So I mean, this isn't the hardest thing to find, but it doesn't really do much on its own. Hadana's Clime's the easiest thing to cast, but again, not that impactful on its own either. Thran Spider's technically the actual easiest to cast, and is reach, so it might just be that. Counterspell, make a zombie. I mean, this could be good. When it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, create a token of another attacking creature. Token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. So say we could make like an extra copy of the Lieutenant, but we don't have that many things that make things. Like Chatterfang sometimes does. That just makes extra squirrels. I like all of our synergy on that front, so I think we just want the artifact. We might be able to use it occasionally. It's just a good fixing thing. This is just equipping, but it will draw us cards, but it's really expensive to do so. So it's going to cost us 3. We're not going to get much in terms of out of the flying and lifelink, most likely, because we've got a bunch of drain anyway. Just having an extra creature works. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the worst. We've got what enchantments have we got? So obviously, Sanctum Weaver is our one enchantment. I don't think we've actually got any others, have we? We didn't get back the other chatter thing that makes all the 1/1s eventually. Why is this being so slow? There we go. So enchantments, only 2. Dried. Oh yeah, we've got Timrak Calls the Dead. So there's only potentially 2 mana that can generate. But if it's a good curve, if we get there. Creature types, we're missing. Oh, sorry, we've got loads of different ones, which is good for the Volo Guide to Monsters. Master Good Nexus. Creature you control are every creature type. Same. So this and Volo are real anti-synergy. These do not work well together. What do we think? Can we remember? Like, this is really good with what we're doing in general. I suppose we just kind of hope we don't draw them at the same time. Like, as long as we remember that it doesn't really work. And just don't play one out if you've got the other. The other option is swapping one for Hadana's Climb. Or Mask of Griselbrand. I think we're okay for card draw effects. As in, we haven't got loads. What we've got is that's negative for them. We've got emergent sequences, your ramp, card selection, find a card that we need specifically. Again, copies things. Also, Prime Speak of Vannifar, so we can go from Haywire Might to something. Oh, that's also just when it dies you gain life, so that's good. Put that into, say, like a Grimflayer or Sanctum Weaver. From there we can go Scoot Swarm, Chatterfang, Thran Spider, Slingang, Skyfisher, or Volo. And then all the way up to our big drops here. So that's actually really sweet here. So maybe we do just put in Mask of Griselbrand over Volo. How are we looking for number of creatures? 14. Plus Emergent Sequence is essentially a creature. Finale's sort of a creature. Scoot Swarm was 1,000,000 creatures. Crackling Counterpart's a creature. I think we ditch Volo. I think it's going to be too difficult to trigger given that Nexus really does work with what we want. Especially with things like Sling-Dang Lieutenant. Just making everything into goblins that can trigger twice. And then we've got this, which is double triggering. This just triggers loads of stuff. We could really churn out the damage here. So maybe we put in the mask. I'm not sold on the mask, just to clarify that. But I like it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue sources. That's loads without really any investment. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black sources. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green sources. I mean, our mana's fantastic. We don't have too many early drops anyway. I think we've got this. It seems like a pretty cool deck. Yeah, nothing here jumps out at me. I don't like any of it, really. I want to avoid as much splashing as possible. The Mask is probably my least favourite card here, but it could end up being really good in some matchups. Especially if we do like Mask into Innocent Blood and draw a bunch of cards. Who knows, maybe even just flying and lifelink stick it on an Ishkana and gain 3 life. It's not the end of the world. Or like Conrad gain 5 could be brutal. Or even just Grimflayer. Getting Grimflayer through could be really nice, just when it surveils and gets bigger and bigger. Card types, we have got 13 creatures, 7 sorceries, 4 artifacts, 2 enchantments, no instants. So it's going to be hard for us to get Delirium, but we can do it. Again, Collective Brutality does a good job of that. The artifacts and then land and creature means that we're probably quite likely to get things in there. For instance, if we ditch a Thran Spider or sacrifice Haywire Might, that's 2 types on its own. And then all we need to do is get land and sorcery in there. We should be fine. I think we've got a couple of ways of milling. Yeah, you go. Each player mills a guard. This getting indestructible could be quite fun. Right, I think that's it. So I'm going to jump straight into the games now. I'm going to quickly stop the video and come back once we've got the Q pop. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I think this deck looks kind of sweet. We're going to try and outvalue our opponent with sacrifice synergies. If you enjoy it, again, you know what to do. But for now, I'll see you in game. Okay, we have found our game. It's only been moments since I actually last saw you, literally less than 30 seconds. I was just checking a couple of settings, stopping the recording, coming back once the Q's popped, and hopefully we can have a really good start. Ideal hands are going to have things like maybe a Haywire Might and a Sanctum Weaver, and then Tymaret Calls the Dead into Grimflayer. Like, those are all really good early game cards, but we've got enough things that do well for us, so hopefully we can just find those and see how it goes. While this is taking a bit of time, I'm actually just going to close one other program I've got running, see if that speeds up the game. I mean, this looks great. We've got tap land, dual land, we've got multiple removals and a creature spell that also fuels spider spawning. Our opponent's going first, which is kind of interesting because it means that we might even be able to use our Innocent Blood. I mean, this is very awkward. Temple of Malady probably is what we want here, seeing as the Triumph doesn't do anything. I really do apologise for the frame rate on the game here. At this point in time, I think we keep it. I don't think we can justify losing out on another land colour that we need, especially seeing as we've got cycling on this. We don't need to worry too much about ditching that land. So what we want them to do here is play a creature. If they do, okay, Cold Steel Heart isn't ideal. We know what we're drawing anyway. So we're just going to play this and pass. Next turn we're going to play Tymaret Calls the Dead. We might be able to get value out of it, we might not, which is kind of awkward. That's the channel card. Old Rutstein. When it enters the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If a land is milled, create a treasure token. If a creature is milled, make an insect. If a non-creature, non-land, make a blood token. Okay, so what we want to do here is find a way of dealing with that before it goes nuts. And honestly, I think we're just going to play probably just a tap land and Innocent Blood, because if they're going to have more things that we want to deal with, this would be a nice way of just getting rid of it immediately. And they've ditched a spider spawning as well, so I think it looks like we're going to need most of our lands here, so we're just going to play the tap land. We've got more tap lands to cycle anyway, so this gives us sort of more options later on. Next turn we can start looking at playing other things. Okay, so we're probably looking at Tymaret Calls the Dead. Although we could just go Chatterfang into Tymaret and see if this lives, but I doubt it will do. Okay, Timeless Witness, yeah. So what do we draw here? Okay, Cackling Counterpart isn't useful quite yet. So I think maybe we actually just want to play Chatterfang. With Forest Walk and being, you know, beefy, we can sacrifice it if we need to. If it was kicked, exile it instead. So is that kicked? Or is that the end step? Oh, it's my turn, so that must only be... I can't tell if it's kicked or not. That was 4 last turn. I don't think that's... Oh, it was their turn. Well, we should have sacrificed that. But then again, it's not the end of the world, but we definitely should have done. So here we're going to go with Vannifar. Vannifar can start making things happen next turn, But yeah, that's a mistake on my part. I should have sacrificed it. To be honest, it didn't really matter either way if I did or didn't for my mana, so I should have just done that regardless. So, Rutstein probably needs to die. So let's just... So let's just destroy that. We'll lose 3. And we can just emergent sequence to get out a... probably forest at this point. Let's go swamp. We've got loads of swamps. There's a good chance we sacrifice this anyway. Because we can sacrifice this to find something that kills one of their items. So let's just take the damage, sack the swamp, and find our 1-drop. There we go. Haywire Might exists. And now if we need to, we can sacrifice this to destroy something. So it could just be that we go for Cold Steel Heart here, but I kind of want to just see if they give us another option. If they do, we'll go for that. So if they don't, we'll go for that. Maybe I should have done now, just strip the mana, because they'd only been on 3 mana and 1 over here. They do have the Reclaimer though, which is going to find them what they need eventually. I kind of just want to keep this and worry about Vanifaring next turn. So let's see what happens. Yeah, there's their Snow Mana. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, proliferate. So what are they going to target? Okay, so we're just going to go for this, because this way they can't interact with us immediately. Yeah, we take some damage. Okay, so we need to start finding ways of dealing with these creatures. Spider Spawning doesn't do anything right now. That's the problem. So I don't actually know how we're going to come back from this. They can kill that in response. We probably don't care too much about Delirium right now, so we'll just... Although we don't have anything to get back stuff, so we'll just take out Second Round to make a 2-2. Play our Triome. So I think there's a good chance they just go for this next turn. We can figure out what we want to do with this. They really should just kill Vannifar here, but it's going to be hard for us. We need to find something we can sacrifice for Vannifar. Oh, is this the 2/1/1 counters on creature you control? Okay. So that thing's just going to be big. They've only got Spider Spawning and 1 card left though, so it's not like they can just run through everything here. They probably want to attack with Cankerbloom and then just go for Timuret Calls the Dead. So we probably just block that and see what they do. If they go for that, what do we do? Because we can't do anything of value here anyway, and everything just... I think we're doing this. This makes sense to me. Oh wait, Proliferate exists. Oops. That doesn't help. Yeah, I messed that up. For some reason I just read that as a disenchant, so that's my fault. I've not ever seen Cankerbloom before. So I misread that. Made a bit of a mistake. Looks like it's not going to matter too much anyway. So we can't even make something out of these, really. We've got sorcery, land, artifact, creature, so this doesn't look like it's coming back regardless. I can't remember any way we've got of getting it back. So I actually think we probably just have to Spider Spawn here. And we know they've got the same, but theirs is going to be more difficult to activate. And this does it. Gain X and Scry X for its number of zombies. So we just have to chump block the Dragon's Guard Elite until we find something to deal with it. Yeah, they're going to discard a mount. So imagine a swamp. Myth of the Ages. Myth of Te Ages is our opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's treasure, isn't it? Yeah. So Here we just send a spider in. That's fine. We haven't got anything to really cackling counterpart here. Okay, that's good. Ooh. I don't hate Westphale Abbey here. Because Westphale Abbey is 5 and sacrifice 5 creatures, isn't it? So this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, if we just do this... We make 2 more things, and then next turn we can potentially just nuke them. So we're going to pass here, and what we're going to hope that they do is just spend... Okay, so they're not going to just spend on this, they're going to find a land. But if there's a way that we can survive here... Flying, lifelink, indestructible, haste, and this is... when one or more other creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Oh, it only triggers once per turn. Oh, that's a shame. Either way, this is probably still the play. If we can get one more thing to defend this. So this could be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. So unfortunately, we just have to block this. Is Ormondal legendary? It is. So we can still potentially get some health back, but it's not going to be enough to survive. It might even be that we need to Ormondal, attack, Cackling Counterpart, make a copy of Ormondal, save that to attack the following turn. Okay, so this is putting counters on it. This is... Okay, finding a land. They don't need to fight our stuff, that's probably correct. So what if we do... And this isn't at any speed other than sorcery, so we can just pass here. And see if they notice. Yeah, there you go. They've spotted the Westphale Abbey. And we can just start trying to find ways to deal with it. The problem here is if they've got like a single bounce spell, we're in so much trouble. So if they attack, we just block with the Ormondal, we gain 9, so there's no reason for them to attack here. But there's also no reason for us to do anything other than chump, because we can Cackling Counterpart to get another spider to deal with this next turn. Oh, this is a hard game. Like, we want to find like Ishkana. Ishkana would be fantastic here, because we can just start chumping and gradually lose bit by bit, as in you gain health bit by bit. We're going to be making a human if we need to. We're kind of leaving at the point where if they attack, it's definitely better for them, but we can gradually grind them down, and we can keep on making our Westphale Abbey tokens. When you cast this and when it attacks, destroy it to one target non-land permanent its opponent controls. Create Power Stone. When you cast this spell and whenever it attacks, destroy it one line. Oh, good. So we're just gonna. Yeah, I think we just resolve that. So we need to find a way of dealing with that. So, what? Hang on. Try to one target non-land permanent. So we obviously want to just do this. So maybe we can kill them. So this would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that we take. So this isn't good. What can we do about this? We can kill their 2 biggest things. That's the good start. If we have enough mana. Do we have 8? 5? We do. So we can kill the Leveler and kill the Dragon's Guard Elite. But then we're going to start dying in very rapid response from there. Oh, it's when when you cast it or it attacks. Brilliant. That was a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically we have enough to block here, but I don't think there's anything we can do. Because it has trample. So we need to put something bigger down. I don't think we can survive this. I think we've lost this. I think it was just a little bit too much. I forgot this was a cast, not ETB. So I don't think there's a world in which we can live here. I'm fairly sure if they just attack with everything, because even if we had to block this, we need to put 8 in front of it, which is that, and then we only have 3 remaining blockers, and they've got 4 remaining creatures. So if they just attack with everything, they've won, which is a good play by our opponent. This thing is terrifying. I've never seen this before either. We were probably able to beat the Dragon's Guard Elite, especially if we got to keep this around, but I don't think there was a route in which playing Ormondale helped us win, because we have to lose the Westvale Abbey. If we could keep the Westvale Abbey and keep making 1/1s, then at that point we could do. But then I think not so much. The fact that these are 1/1s is awkward. I mean, hopefully our opponent sees the line, because I don't like winning by just rubbish, basically. I like them to have a chance and see what we can do. They could even just destroy a creature as well, actually. So they could just destroy everything we've got. If they just... yeah, there we go. We'll no blocks this. Well, we might as well block what we can. If they destroy this, we've got even less chance. Perfect. So to live, we can take nowhere near... like, we're taking 3, 4, 5, 7 damage minimum here. So we'll just go with the no blocks. Well played to our opponent. We will give them the good game. We didn't quite get our engines up and running that game. You know, it felt like we were just a little bit on the back foot. I probably didn't play it very well, to be honest. Maybe I should have Haywire Mighted the turn earlier to destroy the thing. But also the big play was sacrificing Vannifar and not killing the Dragon's Guard Elite. That was a big mistake on my part. I should have realised that that's what was going on. Funny enough, this is the only thing I've played since then. I mean, sure, if our opponent's just doing this, we'll just concede. Like, but yeah, no, so we could have got out a 4-drop potentially at some point. Let's see if there's a 4-drop that would have won us the game from there. I doubt it, just to clarify. I think it's very unlikely that we'd have won anything from that position, but it's well worth having a look. Okay, let's get through these loading times. Yeah. Let's see, because we had the 3-drop. I mean, I suppose there was also that 2-drop, so 3 or 4 drops that could have helped us win. Chatterfang, probably not, because we didn't make that many... oh, we did make a token with that and that. So that could have helped. Or even Scoot Swarm, if we'd have found some more lands. Sling Gang Lieutenant buys us time. Spider was already in the bin. And then we would have got our way up to here. Making this indestructible was obviously useful. Maybe there was a world in which I did it if I hadn't made that mistake, but I did. So one thing I actually learned from Magic that I apply to everything now is, you know, if you make a mistake and you find yourself in a position, or just whatever position you happen to be in, the best thing you can do is just the best from that exact point you're in. Don't worry about what you did in the past. Don't worry about, you know, what led you up to this point. You know, immediately, obviously try and learn from it, but ooh, I appear to have frozen here as well. Okay, we are back. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a technical issue there. The entire game crashed, and it seemed like it took most of my PC with it. I'm guessing it might be a my PC issue more than the game one. Unfortunately, we were in queue at the time, so it must have paired us and counted us abandoning the game. But we can go through into what is now our 3rd match. I mean, I really want to get to at least 2 wins so we can have enough to try again. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to save the gems for the next format, but let's see if we can have a little bit better luck this time around. I don't think our last game was too bad of a performance. We had a few mistakes, but our opponent was just on top of everything that we needed to do. Unhull versus you. Well, I'm sure there's going to be 1,000 puns, but after just trying to sort all this out, I think my brain's not going to be able to cope with them. We will keep this, and because we can go Triome into Harbour, which will be untapped, and then we don't have to worry too much about the temple being potentially untapped. Although that doesn't allow us black mana, but this is the only way we get untapped mana turn 2. So this is what we're going to need to do. So we can use Emergent Sequence to find the black mana. even though that's probably not really what we'd ideally be doing. Especially not into the fact that it looks like they're going to be able to kill it. But I don't think there's a better option. Even into open mana, I think the best option is to try and find the colour that we need, because just in case they don't, and we have got plenty more black sources. We've got 9 more in the deck alone. So let's see. Swamp Fractal. I'm really hoping they don't just kill this, because being able to play... yeah, Drowned Nicker's pretty great. We have got black source here regardless, so we can still play that. And look for another land. We do need to find more land, basically. Because we've got the ability to play Chatterfang, or not even the Mask yet, just Chatterfang, so we want to find something else. There we go, that's a good draw. So, what do we go for? You sacrifice another creature when you do destroy target non-land permanent. So we're going to just play the Slingang Lieutenant first. And just pass here. This has got a lot of potential to just churn out damage over the next couple of turns, especially if we can get down Drivnod. Each creature except creatures you control with flying. Wow. That is pretty much the perfect answer. That's actually ridiculous. We're going to lose this entire draft. Select that player, select this goblin. That is ridiculous. They're playing like a fairly aggressive deck, and they are just going to pull out answer after answer to us. Chatterfang might have to be our saving grace here. Or, I mean, Skyfisher Spider, potentially. There we go. Llanowar Waste is good. We're getting closer to our Ishkana getting triggered, so that's nice. Do we have 2 creatures here? We don't. So it's probably just Chatterfang as a 3/3. I don't like it too much. It's not ideal, but if we can find an easy way of getting something into the graveyard. Is this sacrifice another? Is creature specifically not permanent? But I mean, even just drawing a land and playing and equipping this is actually a pretty good way of drawing the race back in our favour. We have got Forest Walk, but they're red. They're probably going to have an abundance of 3 damage spells. Yep. Nothing we can do about that. This is so bizarrely good from our opponent here. So we've got 6 mana. I think we just have to go with this. We can potentially give it Indestructible. Oh, it's 3 creatures, not 2. No, we can't. Of course. Answer after answer from our opponent here. This looks to be way more of a creature-heavy format than I expected. Okay, so we can play Vannifar. What was this again? Sack an artifact. Potentially pump something. So I'm just going to play Vannifar. Vannifar just having the extra toughness, much easier to deal with versus red decks. Of course, there are red and black removal. There's going to be loads of it. They're probably going to be able to deal with Vannifar as well. Yep. This is utterly mad. Well. Okay, I mean, sure. We'll play this out. Play Mask of Grizzlebrand. Of course it tapped us out. Do we not have enough black sources? Oh yeah, we can. It was just making sure we wanted to pay our life for it. So we're kind of just relying on no removal here. Because otherwise we are going to be in serious trouble. That's fine. That gets us to trigger Ishkana. I'm not actually against that. As long as they don't kill the spider as well, I'm not too upset. Because spiders coming back can really help. Murderous Rider. Okay, we're good. Attack with this. Go on, I dare you. Attack it. Forget spiders have reach. Oh. Okay, interesting. So, being able to make 2 copies of the Skyfisher spider could be really nice. Just sacrifice these spiders. Well, no attack here, because this is when it dies, gain 1 life for each creature in our graveyard. I mean, at the moment it's only 3, I think. Yeah, only 3. But we can potentially use Ishkana or Skyfisher twice with Croaking Counterpart, rather. Okay, yep. They've got their own Slingang, so they're very close to being able to kill us here. We need to gain some life drastically. Okay, their search for anything. What are they going to have? Is it going to be the same thing we have, where they lose a bunch of life? We need something here, something big. It doesn't help that a lot of our stuff is legendary, but... So what can we do here? They can pump things up. They can't get anything through these. We can kill at least one thing. We don't get to know what they get either, which is slightly awkward. I might just be making multiple Ishkana copies here, I think. In fact, if we 3, then we've got 2, 3, 4. We're still slightly short of what we need. So, target a non-frog creature. Hang on, what are their lands? That's the channel one. That's the Hive Tyrant. So we could just make any of these. I mean, I'd almost like the lifelink personally, but let's make an Ishkana just to get 3 more spiders. We would like to keep this one. And to be honest, on a similar vein, I think we want to make a copy of Skyfisher Spider, because then we can sacrifice one of these tokens and just destroy Slingang Lieutenant. That's the one that's going to deal the most damage to us, I believe. Okay, so they didn't want to sacrifice it in response, which is good for us. Given they've got a million reach, I think we attack with our Skyfisher, because to be honest, we're happy if it dies because we can exile it and gain some life. Like, yeah, that's all good. I mean, next turn they're taking what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potentially from Ishkana's activation, so that's pretty big. They've only got 4 blockers. Oh, Herald of Anguish. Oh my goodness. Okay, I mean, we've got Ormondale available. This isn't sorcery speed, is it? No, and so I think we just pass here. Because if we can activate this and then next turn Ormondale, I think we just put them in a position where they have to block. Draw cards and proliferate here. Because we can just do this twice otherwise. If they don't have another way of gaining life, we just win. So they can kill things potentially. Equipped creature has double strike, yeah. If they use all their mana to put it on something, they could put it on Murderous Rider, I guess. I don't know. I don't think they're going to win. I think we might win. We can just double Ishkana, right? The other option here is we could just jump. If it's double strike, they can only gain 2 anyway, and this way, yeah. So if that's the only thing they attack with, I think we just block with our frog, because it's not trampling. Although, yeah, because we want this to live. So they first strike us once. We will exile this because it's only a token anyway. Gain a few life. Pass to regular damage. And now we win. You can lose 1 life for each spider we control. Yeah, there we go. Let's not even interact. Oh, thank goodness. We saved ourselves. Ishkana coming up clutch there. Cackling Counterpart doing work. Okay, I no longer feel bad about recording this draft. After the last one just got completely tanked, I felt really awkward. I was really hoping that we wouldn't need to just ditch it. And also with those missions completed, we're going to get enough for one more anyway. So hopefully after all this we can still get the Moonbreaker content recorded and uploaded, and maybe just switch things around a little bit this week to make sure everything comes out. But now we can go into one more game. Really glad that we managed to stabilise there. It was looking pretty close, but again, 4 reach bodies on Ishkana is incredible. Scoot Swarm's supposed to be good, especially if we can emergent sequence into Scoot Swarm. Because I've heard that activating it immediately is probably pretty good. So this is going to be forest and search up another forest, I believe. Witching Well. Okay, so it's another artifact. Likely artifact deck, maybe control. If it's blue though, the chances are they may not have as much in terms of removal. So we want a black source here. We also want to potentially just... Okay, Thopter mechanic. That is... We draw a second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. Yep. When it dies, make a Thopter. Yes, that means they do get that next turn. So we've got 4 mana here if we need it. However, I think just Scoot Swarm here into just a land, make a Scoot Swarm, and we can start going through this way. And is it when it got 6 or more lands? Yeah, 6 or more lands. So we've 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we care about this? No, not really. Funnily enough, if we make a token that's this but a 1/1 frog, is it still a land? I don't know. We'll do this just in case. If they have an edict, it sucks, but I want to find out. I want to find out if we croak and counterpoint this swamp, what happens. It does count as a land, although it dies. Wait, no, it doesn't die. It's basic token land swamp. There we go. We have a spare Scoot Swarm. What is this? How does it work? It's a green frog. So we have a green swamp right now. What? Okay, so it does tap for black. Super weird. What was this one? +2/+2. When it attacks to your combat damage, we sacrifice it to discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Guess we get no attacks here. So we can make another weird copy swamp thing. We're going to Crackling Counterpart, a Croaking Counterpart anyway. I think we just... Do we Insect or do we Flayer? And we don't really care much for the Flayer anyway. We might as well just trade it and stop our life total dipping and just make a ton of 1/1s. Oh yeah, that's how that works. We're going to Scoot Swarm this anyway, it's fine. Scoot Swarm this. More Scoot Swarms. I mean, at this point, I guess we just attack with the swamp because we don't have any other ways of copying it. Sure, go ahead, OP. We're going to be making 4 Scoot Swarms next turn, so unless they get a sweep, yeah, some sort of sweep here would be good for them. Mask of Grizzlebrand probably just goes in on something here. Creatures of the chosen colour, so red creatures get +1/+1, yeah. Red instant or sorcery. Okay, yep. Given that that's a 4/3, I think the random insect now just blocks. But we can just give our... I mean, this is another good choice. Dying doesn't trigger anything here, so we really just want to find lands, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip this to a random Scoot Swarm. Go to combat. Attack with the flying Scoot Swarm. Then I'm going to Innocent Blood. We'll sacrifice this Scoot Swarm. We'll pay life. They can choose whatever they sacrifice. Yet they make a Thopter. We will take action. We do draw a land. Play it down. Make even more Scoot Swarms. So it does mess up our volume of Scoot Swarms slightly, but this is going really well. Next turn we can do the similar sort of thing with the swamp if we find a way to lose it. Or we can just pump it up and start attacking for more. We just want to keep drawing lands, basically. Okay, what can they do from here? Heraldic Banner obviously matters for the red creatures, but it doesn't matter for artifacts. It's just a mana rock. What are they going for here? Like, they can do the same thing. They can Pyromancer stuff. This is going to be interesting for us. Okay, another Brea's Apprentice. Okay. So we can't deal with the flyers. That's the interesting part here. Unless we make our Swamp a flyer. Yeah, so they've now got... Okay, that was the wrong flyer to pick, but sure. Oh no, because they're going for the blocks. That's fine. So make a ton more Scoot Swarms. Honestly, at this point, they can only block 3, so we're still slightly far away from where we want to be. We will equip this. And go with no attacks quite yet. But if this thing dies, we will absolutely pay 8 life to draw 8 cards. Like, no challenge at all. Yeah. I mean, this is worth taking that hit, I think, to then try and just push through. Yeah. Avacyn's Judgment. So here I'm actually just going to attack with this, I think, unless... We've got one creature in the yard, so what if we mill enough here to do the damage? So we only got 2 creatures into the yard, so we'll just ditch the Grimflayer. Make a 2/2. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attack with the big old flyer and take a hit. Yep, they can block here, that is fine. So we gain 8, then we're going to pay 8 life. Which is great. Do we pay it twice? Let's decline that. What do we have in the graveyard? We've got land, creature, sorcery, so we need to get artifact basically. So we can do this. We can just make the banner go away. And we've got 5 mana left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus a land. Plus we've got landfall triggers here. So we can make a ton of Scoot Swarms here. And then we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we can sacrifice this. Ideally find 1 more land. It is a forest, that's what we want. Make a million of these. We'll exile that. What's the scariest thing on their side? Instant sorcery cards in your graveyard have flashback. So they've got Avacyn's Judgment is the only one there. So we could just... Okay, what's the... Just to deal 2 damage. Or we can just Ishkana something back. I honestly think we just Skyfish a Spider here and not take any risks. Sacrifice one of these. And I'm actually less worried about this than I am Brea's Apprentice. So we can take Brea's Apprentice out. See if our opponent can figure out how to deal with this. Without a sweep effect here, we are just going to win the game. We've got a million Scoot Swarms. We can just swing with everything. And then if they have a means of blocking it, we can play Ishkana and just really solidify our board state from there. Okay, a Planeswalker's a good start. Exile top 3 cards. Oh, they can cast creatures. Yeah, I'm not as worried about this. This doesn't seem like a threat to me. This seems like we've won the game. Yeah. Okay. Scoot Swarm, unsurprisingly, ridiculous. We've made it. We've got our goal of at least 2 wins. That was what we wanted in the first place, so happy to have done that. Let's see if we can get any more. Due to the technical issues, this video is going to be going out a little bit late, unfortunately. 4250 now. But we got to do cool things. We made like 35 Scoot Swarms there. That Fabled Passage coming in clutch. The emerging, whatever it is, getting us a trigger a turn early as well was really awesome. We could just start getting Scoot Swarms from turn 3. Okay, Fabled Passage, Grim Flayer. I mean, that's a good start in itself. So I think we're actually going to save the Fabled Passage, even though it can come in now, because we do have a world in which we might want to get an island, and Grim Flayer needs to be our first play. We should have played the Swamp, actually, rather than Llanowar Wastes, in case we drew an untapped land. We didn't have to take damage. Let's just hope they've not got a Llanowar Elf. Gilded Goose, that is just as bad. Do we draw a removal spell? We do. I mean, technically we could just kill that. That's not quite what we're going for. We'll go for Grim Flayer here. We'll take the one for that. And next turn we can move towards this. We can play Thane and not quite the Haywire Might as well, because this is still going to be tapped. But the Might is useful, especially if they do play something we want to kill. Chatterfang is pretty brutal. We need to deal with that as soon as we can. Good. Good. I don't know how we deal with that, is the problem. Yeah. Okay, let's go with the no attacks then. I think we're going to lose to Chatterfang very rapidly. If this is a proper white... Oh, almost... I suppose it's just, yeah, white-green tokens. We could cope with it. Hang on. Oh, it's Forest Walk. Of course it is. You can just go. One of my recruits power 2 or less. Draw a card. I'm kind of okay with that on the grounds that we can just feed the swarm now. I think that's the right thing to do here. Play this. How many creature types? Okay, so we've not got enough to get Delirium yet. But we've got... In fact... No, we can. Hang on, no, because this is... Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Yeah, we can't do that yet. Because we don't have a target for this. Yeah, if we had a target, if they still had that food token, we could have done that. And we'd have absolutely been happy to do so. Because we've got the Zagoth Shrine, we can find a green source for this if we need to. Tashar, sure. So they're going to go for real just value stuff here. We don't have anything to attack with. What can we put in the graveyard? Land, sorcery... I don't know how we need to find some way of getting... I mean, actually, this just gets everything we need eventually. So I guess here, because we've got black, black, blue, we can just get a forest here to have a green, another green source that doesn't hurt. Because we're going to play Vannifar now anyway. Vannifar into Siege Gang Lieutenant is nice. So they're going to go for loads and loads of value. We can't stop them getting, drawing cards and returning things to the battlefield. The fact they can bring Chatterfang back is disgusting. Okay, no historic spell though. And they drew one card. That's fine. Can we get everything we need to here? We can't get 3 creatures in the graveyard, but we can potentially go for a 5-drop. What about Sir Conrad? Sir Conrad could work here. Ishkana's not going to because we've only got sorcery land. But if we can... If we can find a way to deal with that. If this was an untapped land. What 2-drops do we have? We don't have anything here. We're taking 4 in the air. When it dies you gain 2 life, but that doesn't get us what we want. So I suppose we have to just attack with the Grim Flayer and see what they do. That's fine. Because we're not taking too much in the air immediately. The issue here is if they sacrifice their food knowingly, because that'd be clever of them. So we can just look to ditch cards here, basically. See if we can get Delirium. We need... There, putting that in the graveyard is perfect. In fact, probably just want all of these in the graveyard. We don't care about any of them whatsoever. What we do care about is getting a Sling Gang Lieutenant down and sacrificing the Sling Gang Lieutenant, draining 2, and finding Ishkana. Or second right as any creature dying, but we can probably try and find a way to do that next turn. Play the Triome. Maybe we can find a way of doing that next turn. It might be a bit hard because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you draw an untapped land, we can search for a 4-drop and then do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, it doesn't work for walk effects, but everything is going to be flying. So we need to try and find a way to kill them this turn, basically. Because otherwise we're just dead. Have they got any other keywords? It's just flying, isn't it? But we've got really good blockers. I'm really glad we've got Ishkana down this turn. Oh, what can we even do? I mean, 5 of them, I'd just... Oh, they've done it wrong. They could have given everything indestructible. So now if they attack, there's actually a good chance we can block a bunch of things. Okay, so, what can we do here? Grimflayer... We can potentially get back Sling Gang Lieutenant. So we've got 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't make this 10 or more. So let's see what we can find. Go for 4. Auto pay that. This could just be a case that we can get Sling Gang Lieutenant again. Oh no, do we have to choose now? I'm going to choose our library anyway, just to have a look and see if we... Yeah, we can search a graveyard if we need to. So we've got Skyfisher Spider. That can deal with Odric. So we're going to get Skyfisher Spider out here. We'll sacrifice a Goblin to kill Odric here. Kill that. We don't have the... Oh, if we'd have sacrificed something else first, we could have potentially got the double. But we will sacrifice this again to get our big guy out. Sure, we'll do this. Gain some life. We can't really do much about getting that back anyway now. But we can get Sir Conrad. And then we can just start attacking with a couple of things here and there. So we'll just start with this for now, Grimflayer. Because we can potentially... It's when it's a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere. So this can hit like a truck if we mill a bunch of our own stuff. So whatever they decide to do here is fine by us. You know, they're going to just take a bunch of damage, potentially clean up the board. Maybe we even burn some damage out of them as well. And we get to pick our next units. So unfortunately, none of that helps at all. So we will ditch the lot of it. And pass the turn, I guess. We can just swing with everything next turn. So unless they get a really big play here... I mean, they could find a way of getting Odric back. Odric costs too much, though. They can keep drawing cards. We can keep blocking the things. We can ditch one of these. Yeah, drawing more cards. Okay, they've realised they're in trouble now. Because this is going to deal with damage as well. And we can maybe just mill them out. Food or treasure. They probably want food at this point. Yep, they're going food, so they want to make sure they don't die. And we can just pass turns from this point, really? Keep attacking with Grimflayer only. Because that's the one that hits the hardest. We could also... Oh, we could get the guy that triggers when something dies twice if we can get a 4-drop out. So she can't sacrifice herself, which is frustrating but reasonable. Destroy target creature power 4 or greater. So they destroyed their comrade. Okay, so they might be able to get us here. They've got a lot of attackers, but we've got a lot of blockers and a lot of life. And they've taken 2 from this as well. I think we might be okay. Chatterfang can get through, yeah. Sure. Don't care about that. If you attack with that, it's just 1 less blocker. There's nothing I can see that's going to stop that. Really. Enlist a creature, scry 2. You tapping on... Okay, so it's just adding power to it. Sure. So it is not indestructible yet, but we just chump block that, I believe. And take 4. Okay. We're getting there. What can we do here? What can we do here? We can get our own Chatterfang, but we can also just activate this and we've got 4 spiders. So over 2 turns, spiders win. Because it's 7 though. We've only got 6, so we need to do something now. So I think we play this. And honestly, with them not having any 4 toughness things, I think attacking with Grim Flayer is still the right choice. Because we might be able to find things that... Sure. Yeah, that works. I guess we just kill the Thraben Inspector. It's better than nothing. We get to drain for 2. Now, did we have any 2-drops that were good? Oh, we've got... I suppose Sanctum Weaver was in there. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember what was in our list. If only there was a way to view your list. Because I can't remember what 2-drops we got. Okay. I think we're just passing the turn again, trying to survive. I think we might be in trouble. I think this is close. Yeah, you can transform that. We've just got to try and live. We've got 4 hidden life in the bank here because we've got the Executioner. Yeah, keep bringing things back. As long as they don't actively kill us this turn, we could be okay. So they can probably just kill us with squirrels, actually. If they can make enough of them. We've just got to hope basically they mismath it. Because if they keep making squirrel tokens, yeah. I think they can attack with everything here and kill us if they don't do the maths properly. Sacrifice that to draw a card, sure. But if they don't kill us, we've got them next turn, I believe. So let's see what they can do. I think attacking with everything is our opponent's best choice here. I think they could absolutely just take us out without having to even think, to be honest. I don't see how we could potentially live. Although we do have 4 life in the bank, like I said, so... I think maybe there was something I could have Prime Speaker Vanified for, but I think Ishkana being able to potentially save us next turn, maybe they're a bit more cautious than they need to be, because we're going to be putting them down to almost nothing. But again, how we survive here is... I mean, an Ormondal, I guess, is one of our best options, but they've got multiple flying blockers. What do they go with? If they just swing with a lot, they've got us, I'm pretty sure. If it's just Chatterfang, we can let it go. Can Elsa it. Yeah, okay, so List Guy works. Yeah, that's fine. He's getting blocked by the Haywire Might. Yeah, are they going everything or just some things? Okay. I mean, right-click attack all, LOLGG also works better than just doing this. You could attack all and then hold one thing back would work. So we've got a couple of blocks here that we can make. Yep, this is all good. Just keep sending everything. We have to block as much as possible. They've got 6 potential life there. So I don't think we've got this at all. I think we're in a lot of trouble. But we're not out of it. The more things they hold back, the better for us. Because we can deal with some bad maths. Yeah, there we go. And the enlist just goes down. Yeah. So we can resolve this. Sure, get your enlist going. And now we need to go to blocks. So the might has to go here. Anything 3 power that Vannevar can block? No. So we'll stick that there. We'll stick Ishkana onto... I mean, this doesn't kill anything. So one of these over there. I guess one of these over there. So at the moment we're taking 6, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I guess we just stick this on a bigger thing. Maybe anything that wants to be sacrificed. I guess we stick that there. Everything is blocking one thing. This is reasonable. Now if they Chatterfang something, which they should, I haven't done the maths, so we're taking at the moment 6, 10. So how many squirrels do they sacrifice to try and get it through? And if they do they mess it up? If they let this happen, sure. Have I missed something here? Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I mean, I guess we haven't missed anything, but they just know they've got us over time. I don't think there's anything in our list that really helps out here. Yeah, so they're gaining food, we're gaining a couple life. Yeah, I mean, it's nearly impossible for us to win here. Cackling Counterpart, I guess, saves us a bit of effort. Multiple spells, but I think we need to get really lucky here. I don't think this does it. I think our opponent has us. Our only real option here is to sack Ishkana and see if there's anything else bigger. And I don't think we have got anything anyway. No, there's nothing in here whatsoever that could have got us through that, I don't think. Okay, so there we go. Our opponent can have that one. They did win fair and square. Well done, OP. I think we got close at one point, but it just got a little bit overwhelming. Too many tokens. We couldn't deal with Chatterfang twice. We could deal with it once, but not twice. If we could have dealt with that, maybe we'd have had a bit more time. But all in all, given that we dropped a game through sheer just bad luck and disconnecting, I'm not too unhappy with that. I think that was a pretty reasonable result. I'm trying to think what we could have done. Like, what 3 drops did we have we could go and get? Like, obviously our own Chatterfang, but we weren't making too many tokens at that point. And see, what do we get? Ishkana was obviously incredible, because Ishkana is incredible. 3 drops, we could have only really got Scoot Swarm, Thran Spider. So sacking the Grim Flayer doesn't do much. Obviously we knew this was the case. We could have, over 2 turns, worked our way back up to... I think Skyfish was already gone, though. Yeah, I'm not really sure where we go there. That was a difficult matchup, I think. Finale might have been worth it if we could get ourselves to the end game, but I think Ishkana and Spider spawning were our best bets there, and there wasn't really much to do about it. Westvale Abbey could have helped. Just start getting something that has to be blocked every turn, but all in all, I think our opponent deserved that win, and happy to give it to them. So this was a fun deck. I'd love to try something like this again, preferably without having to disconnect and dishing an entire game, but all in all, great fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. I'd love to try more of this cube. I probably will do a few times throughout this next couple of weeks or however long it's around, so keep tracking that, keep an eye on it for at least one more probably. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly is to have a good day.